Welcome, everybody, to our Chocolatey Coffee Break live stream for August. We run two live streams every month on the first and third Thursday. And this Community Coffee Break live stream is on the third Thursday of each month, where we discuss the chocolatey community, what is happening, how you can get involved, and talk to key community and chocolatey team members. Our live stream on the first Thursday of each month is the Chocolatey Product Spotlight, and that's where we spotlight chocolatey products, recent releases, and important features. In the last one, we did an overview on the 2.2.0 release of Chocolatey Sea Lion. We did a demo there as well of some of the new features that were in there and some of the bug fixes. And in the previous Community Coffee Break live stream, we looked at an upcoming Chocolatey package debugging extension. You can check both of those videos out on YouTube. Today, we're going to talk to a newest member of the Chocolatey team, Chris White. But before we do that, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul Broadwith, and I'm the Technical Engineering Manager here at Chocolatey Software. And I lead the engineering team that is responsible for all of the chocolatey products you all use today. I'm also joined, as ever, by my co-host, Gary Ewan Park. Gary, do you want to introduce yourself?
I can certainly do that, yes. My name is Gary Ewan Park. I am a principal software engineer here at Chocolatey. And yeah, I can't think of anything else to say this time round. I normally have something to say, but I don't have anything to say today. So that'll be enough for me.
Cool. Before we jump into questions for Chris, I want to remind you all that you can watch out for announcements of all our chocolatey content by joining us on Discord, subscribing to us on YouTube, or following us on Twitter, Mastodon, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. We're on all the socials, and you can find those links at the bottom of our homepage, chocolatey.org. So let's jump straight into the questions, and we'll bring Chris on stream first of all, and then we'll ask the most important one. Chris, tell us a bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and what do you do?
Well, first, let me say that I'm really glad to be able to do this. I'm very proud to be a part of the Chocolatey family, and it's been absolutely awesome being here. But just a little bit about me. As I said, my name's Chris White. I'm a junior support engineer here at Chocolatey. I've been here almost a year. I was born and raised in the eastern U.S. In a very small town in Virginia. I currently live in North Carolina, just south of where I grew up. During the day, like I said, I'm a junior support engineer here at Chocolatey, but by night, I am an avid dungeon master, board gamer, and also a recent devotee of all things Star Trek.
Wow, I didn't know you were a dungeon master. That's my takeaway from this. Okay. Gary, do you want to pick up the next question? So we have a thing going here, but Gary's forgot.
I know. I was waiting, but yes, I will carry on. So yes, okay. Chris, obviously you are the newest hire or most recent hire that we've had at the Chocolatey family. But one of the speaking more about your background as opposed to what you're getting involved in Chocolatey, what is it that? How do you get into IT? What started you on that road into that career?
That's an interesting question that goes back a long time. My initial plan was to go into the military, and unfortunately, I was unable to fulfill that obligation that I made due to health reasons. So I started my IT journey back at Danville Community College in Virginia in 1999. But then I had to leave unexpectedly and enter the workforce in order to make ends meet. So I worked several places, several jobs through a temp agency until I managed to land a job in construction. And then I worked various jobs through construction, from plumbing and pipe fitting to general contracting to corrosion control over the next 20 years. Until I was finally able to resume my IT journey through college in 2018. And as IT professionals yourselves, I'm sure you can appreciate the change in landscape between 1999 and 2018 once I got back into school. For reference, one of my first classes in 1999. They were very excited to offer it. It was the newest version of Visual Basic. 6.0 had just hit, and little did they know at the time maybe that would be the final version that before they decided to go with VB.net. But a big difference between 99 and 2018.
My first coding job was an application in VB6.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, long time ago.
Not as long as me, unfortunately.
No, that's true. That's very true, Paul. Yes.
Although Chris's beard would kind of suggest that he is much older, having that wizard type beard. But unfortunately, mine's more.
We actually had a quick discussion. Rob and I had a quick discussion about where we fell in age, and apparently I am the third oldest. I thought I was the second oldest employee, but apparently I'm the third oldest. So.
Okay. I'm trying to think who the second one is now. You're making me question.
Rob's actually.
I was going to say Rob.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was Rob.
Yeah.
Okay.
He got me by like 11 months, so the same year.
Oh, okay.
Just
okay.
a few.
So that would still make me the oldest.
So what was that? Just say that again, Paul. I did catch that.
I think I said the youngest. So when did you first come across Chocolatey Software, Chris? And how did it happen? Tell us about it.
That is a great story. I actually had never heard of Chocolatey ever until I was working in the IT shop for the community college that I graduated from, and was looking for a new opportunity, and happened to be walking across the parking lot. I just got finished deploying a bunch of thin clients in a lab, was walking across the parking lot and refreshed my Indeed feed at just the right time. And the junior support engineer popped up at the top. And I'll be completely honest, the company name grabbed me immediately, as it tends to do when when people ask me, it's like, where do you work? And I say Chocolatey, and they go, huh? I saw it and immediately was like, okay, well, this looks interesting. I fit the qualifications, so I actually applied at my desk and then immediately started doing research on the company. And the solution itself is absolutely fantastic. I actually told Rob in my interview, when I interviewed with him, I said, even if you don't select me, I'm going to tell management here that we need to purchase the product in order to push it out, because it is absolutely fantastic, and it really, really would have helped at the college with everything that we do.
So were you working remotely when you switched, or had you done a bit remote
bits
before?
and pieces? When I could, what my job normally entailed was physical deployment.
Yep.
So I would deploy across labs. And if we were actually transitioning to thin clients, but if I was deploying thick clients, I would deploy the lab and then work from home the next day and load all the software.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so I might get through a quarter of the machines on that day loading all the software. Whereas if we had Chocolatey in place, I could have just said blip and then get my feedback and with a cup of coffee.
Okay, so you're reasonably new to Chocolatey and the Chocolatey community. So the next question that we typically ask is, what involvement have you had, or what level of involvement have you had within the Chocolatey community? So whether that is getting involved from a package maintainer point of view, getting involved as a contributor to the code base, etc. So what have you done so far, and what are your goals, or what are you hoping to get involved with?
So far, I've done very little. I would like to be more involved, especially with things like a community day, getting more involved in the Discord. There's a lot of knowledge to be tapped into there, and I would really like to spend more time there. I find myself currently spending a lot of time outside my working hours in my Chocolatey for Business test environment, just trying to figure stuff out and see how I can break things and then fix them so that I can assist when I can.
Cool. It's maybe just work it for anyone that doesn't know. So Chocolatey has what we refer to as a community day. So it's currently once a quarter, I think, Paul, right? So every quarter we take a day where we as all the employees within Chocolatey have the opportunity to jump back into the community, get involved in some PRs, discussions, issue discussions, just generally helping out the community in any way that we can. The important thing being trying to get some of those contributions into the code base, getting them shipped, etc. So there's plans, there's hopes to maybe expand that, so it's more than once a quarter. But at the minute, it is once a quarter that we all get involved in that. So it's been good fun. So it's been an opportunity to jump into parts of the code base that we haven't had an opportunity to spend much time in.
Yes, something I've mentioned a couple of times about the community as well is that we're trying to broaden our horizons a little bit to become more involved in other open source projects, as opposed to just kind of Chocolatey and the surrounding projects on that as well. So it's something we're building on, and we're wanting to kind of do more work on to support other projects. So coming from that last question, our next question may be a bit short, but when did you make your first community contribution to Chocolatey? For example, when did you create your first issue or pull request? And I know you've done a lot of that into Chocolatey projects, not non-community ones, but have you done any for community ones? And what were they?
Not really. I'm pretty sure the majority of the issues and PRs that I've raised have been on our private GitLab for support issues. I have made a couple to the docs repository just to kind of improve some of that. But it has. I actually made my first one in the docs repository about a month after I started. And it was a valuable learning experience and the start of a seething hatred of source control that I'm trying to tame to this day. But I would not know half of which is very little, but I would not know half of what I know about source control were it not for Gary. So I really appreciate all the help that you have imparted through that.
How did it? I mean, coming from a background where maybe, as you said, you've got a seething hatred of source control. So I'm assuming your background, you've not really used it before. How has it really been making that first pull request and, doing the, in public anyway, and doing the private ones as well? Does it all make sense? Do you think it's something that over time you'll get better and you may come to love rather than hate?
I suppose anything's possible. I do see the merits. I mean, I definitely see how important it is, especially, I'm not a developer, but especially from a developer standpoint. I mean, it's very easy to see how important it is. I enjoy it up until I realize that I've missed a step and then have to redo it. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is why I hate this. Totally, of course.
I mean, it's one of those. It's a necessary evil. I mean, Git obviously being the source control system that we use. There's a steep learning curve, and there's an element of you can do lots of things, but when you're trying to do one simple thing and you end up having to do a multitude of other things because something didn't quite go right when you did it over here, and you have to backtrack, and sometimes you just want to burn it down and start again. So there's obviously some complexities to it. And I went to a conference recently where someone was basically saying, I've got this big brand new thing that's like a new version control system that's going to make things easier. And looking at it and how they provided the information about it, it sounded amazing. It also sounded terrifying because I know how hard some of those things are with Git, and they were trying to say that it was just going to be magic and it was all going to happen. So I'm like, okay, well, wait and see. But no, I can definitely feel that pain. I think I've said this before. One of my first PRs into Chocolatey way back when, a community member walked me through that process, and I thought this guy was doolally. I was like, all the things he was trying to tell me, I was like, you can't do that. That's impossible. Why would you even want to do that? But yeah, he stepped me through it. So it's all about passing that information down. So yeah, it's part of that open source journey, if you like, and getting people up to speed with that. So following on from that, so Chocolatey, first and foremost, obviously, is an open source project. We across the team have lots of interest across other open source projects. Personally, I've got probably too many that I try to keep up with. But are you involved in any other open source communities? Are you involved in any other communities, maybe with your Dungeon Master stuff? What other communities are you involved in?
I do have a couple of other communities. IT related, I am a member of the RTP SUG. That's the Research Triangle PowerShell Users Group based out of Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. It's the largest PowerShell users group in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a wealth of information for anybody wanting to learn more about PowerShell or how it can integrate with various tech. And for anybody that's interested, you can find out about them more on Meetup. That's where they schedule all the meetings. I also am involved with my alma mater's IT and cybersecurity program at Danville Community College. I am a former president of the Danville Community College Cyber Knights. It's the cybersecurity club there, and I'm currently a sponsor.
Nice.
And I'm also a member of D&D Beyond, which is where we do all of our, where I do all of my dungeon mastering. And I consistently run a game every 2 weeks for 7 players. Any other dungeon masters here will know that that's ambitious at times. It's not the biggest game I've ever run, not the smallest, but it's my brother plays with us and several friends, so it's
cool.
That is an absolute joy. That's one of my favorite things to do in the world.
Nice.
Cool. It's been a long time since I've played AD&D. It was back in the time, but I did get a set of dice for Christmas from a friend who does play it. So I don't know whether that was a subtle hint or not. But
well, we're all over the country, and we play. I know time zones would be interesting, but if you ever want to play, I am more than willing. More than willing.
Okay.
I wouldn't know where to start. Genuinely, I've never done
A
it.
long time. I think
that's the best place. That's the best place. D&D is very forgiving for beginner's luck, so it is very, very good.
Cool. Okay, jumping back to Chocolatey. What is the one feature that you feel is missing from Chocolatey products, and that you would like to see implemented?
I'm going to be honest. I have racked my brain trying to come up with something that's just like earth-shattering, and failed miserably. But one thing that I did, I was tooling around in my my test environment and just playing with the Choco Pen command. And one thing that I would like to see is when you've got a package pinned, if you try to upgrade that package or force upgrade that package and it says, hey, it's pinned, you can't do it, and you get the skipped package dialog, it would be really cool if you have a pin reason, and pin reason is unfortunately available for business customers only, but if you have a pin reason, it would be nice for that pin reason to be dropped in that skipped package dialog as well. When it says skipped package because of, and then we'll tell you immediately what that is instead of having to go through and run Choco Pin list. Because I know some people myself included. I'll pin a package and then come back to that 2 weeks later and then
forget why you did it. Yeah.
Upgrade it, forget why I did it, and just remove the pin without even doing Choco Fanless. Just remove it, and then immediately upgrade it, and then So I think that would be very helpful.
Now that you said that, that makes a lot of sense. I don't think we've got an issue to say that, but I think that would make a lot of sense to understand or to surface that information to make it available. So yeah, I think that's your next contribution into the chocolate community there, Chris, to raise an issue for that. Yeah, absolutely. I think we definitely should.
Yeah, that would be really useful.
There was a question, but I think I'm not sure. There's an element of humor to it. I don't know if you wanted to take the question from the chat there, Paul.
Yeah, I'm guessing you mean the question from M2H Weirdsmith.
Yeah, that's the one. That's maybe a relative, is it? I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy. I can field that.
So the question being, so Paul's just put it up on the page, but if anyone doing the audio version, the question is, I know how much you enjoy your current position, but if you weren't working at Chocolatey, what would be your dream job? And also, how awesome is your older brother? Is the follow-up question there for extra points.
So first part, I think my dream job would be if I could get paid to write, I would love to do that. I love to write poetry. I love to write songs. I have about 35 to 40 unfinished novels, everywhere from page 1 to page 25 or so, and I immediately just go, "Oh, I've got an idea for a different one."
Yeah.
Squirrel immediately. But that's what I would do if I wasn't working at Chocolatey. But I do want to reiterate that I absolutely love my job, and it's been nothing but fun. For the follow-up question, how awesome is my older brother? Not awesome at all. He's been a continuing source of we'll say love and support since we're alive. But
is he in IT as well, or completely different?
No, actually, he is retired now, but he was a screenwriter and has written scripts for a couple of movies. Made the rounds as a director and producer as well. So he is a true creator of worlds, and has been a vibrant source of my own creativity. It's really been great to talk with him and be able to bounce ideas back and forth.
Cool.
Anything that we would know that you can speak about?
I will drop a couple here. Mostly horror type stuff. You can look for Attack of the Morningside Monster. That is one of his first, as well as Haven's End. Haven's End was one of the final projects he worked on before he, and he still does some side work as well. But both of them are really good, and I would suggest. There he goes. My latest film is called Haven's End, available for free on Tubi. So
cool. I'll have to check that out. Very good. Good. The next question on the list is, and this one's really, you'll be at the right point for answering this. So, how have you seen Chocolatey benefiting our customers? Because me as a developer, I don't tend to get to interact with customers, but you're on the front line in terms of answering their questions, fielding problems, etc. But hopefully, you've also seen it benefiting them as well. So, what have you seen Chocolatey doing in the field?
Well, and as you mentioned, I am on the front line, but working here, I spend a lot of time in it. But I absolutely see how much time it saves other IT shops. It's incredible being in public and speaking with people, and it's happened a couple of times where someone will ask me what I do. We're at an IT function, and somebody will ask me what I do, and I say, well, I work for Chocolatey Software, and immediately they're like, you work for Chocolatey Software? Oh my God, Chocolatey is the most amazing thing ever, and just immediately jump into, oh, it saves us so much time and maintenance, and there's so many things that it does for us that we just don't have to worry about. Um, and it's so awesome to get those kinds of reactions from people. Um, Matter of fact, my wife works remote as well, and I was in my office and she was in hers. They're right across the hall from each other, and she mentioned, I heard her say, "Yeah, my husband works for Chocolatey," and she was talking to one of our customers who she also deals with. She works in IT. She also works with them, and she said, "Okay, well, I'll be sure to let him know how much you love Chocolatey and how much." And he was. She said that he just kept going on about it. He's like, it's just Choco install or Choco upgrade, or it's like, and that's all you got to do. And she was like, I wish you could have heard his excitement about how happy that makes him to be able to do that. But I've also before I got the job here, I worked at an MSP and I worked in higher education, and having worked at both, I can easily see how having Chocolatey on board will, I mean, it makes your life easier. It's just there's so much capability and just ease of use that comes with it that is, I mean, indispensable.
So, talking about how it's benefiting customers. So, if a customer has an issue or a question, how does the support process work from basically a customer having that issue or having that question right up to it being resolved? What's the steps that we go through internally?
So when a customer runs into an issue or even, like you said, just has questions, wants clarification on something, they'll reach out to us by email, which generates a support ticket. And as mentioned earlier, as the frontline support engineer, those usually tend to come to me first, as long as they're within my working hours. So initially, I'll reach out, ask them for additional information, unless they've already. And in some cases, if it's a continuing customer, a customer that's been with us a while, they know what we're going to ask for. So we'll get the initial email, and then right after that, we'll get another email saying, here are the logs, here are the screenshots of the errors, here's the output for these commands. And that's like, I've been in the middle of asking for that. And it's just a plop directly on the ticket. So that always makes it easy. And depending on the scope of what they're asking, it may be that I can respond with a link to documentation or a knowledge base article that we've written. And so if that will handle the majority of it, I shoot that back to them and ask, make sure it's like, please reach back out to us if you have any questions. I would say probably 9 times out of 10 that's like, oh, that's perfect. That's all I needed. Sometimes that won't quite get it. So any additional information after the logs and screenshots of errors or output, command output, I'll ask for some additional information if the documentation or the knowledge base article didn't quite cover what they were wanting. And at a certain point, if it may just be that it's just not feasible to keep going back and forth through email. And it's just going to be easier to do a screen share. So we have support session links that the support engineers can offer customers where we'll meet on a screen share, and they can kind of take us through what they're seeing and then we can request control and kind of take over and see if there's anything else going on there that either the customer, didn't think would be relevant to share. There's a lot of stuff under the hood that we know to check that a customer, especially I actually had a support call here recently where the technician was just handed Chocolatey, a total C for B, Chocolatey for Business implementation, Chocolatey Central Management. I think he had 225 or 250 clients all told. It was the technician that was running it before got another opportunity, moved on, and it was just dropped on his plate. And it was about, the entire installation was about 2 years old, had not been touched, had not been upgraded. So he was like, what do I do? So started that process, emailed us, we hopped on a support call. And as we go through the support call, if I run into something as first line, if I run into a problem and I go, this is a little more than what I know what to do with, then I'll tell the customer at that point, it's like, this is a little more than what I know how to do. Let me reach out to another support engineer and see if they're available. And if we've got time, we can go ahead and do that now if somebody's available. If not, then I'll either escalate to Ryan Richter, our senior support engineer, or at times I'll even reach out to you guys in development. We have meetings pretty regularly that I'm able to do that if I see something that's just odd that I've never seen before, or that we don't have documentation there. And that's one of the great things about our systems here is we have a huge ticket archive that we can kind of pour through and just toss keywords into. And pretty much, that's where the majority of my answers come from. Stevie, our support manager, or Ryan, our senior support engineer, have seen probably just about everything. And if they can't or haven't already been seen it and done it, then I bring it to development. Development chimes in and says, hey, try this. And if that works, or Ryan takes it and fixes it, or Stevie takes it and fixes it, or even our senior solutions engineer, James Ruskin, if he, depending on how code heavy it is, might be better that James takes over. But once that is handled, we do a recap on the ticket, either a recap of the support call that we did, or just kind of going over everything that we've coalesced into a viable source for the customer to refer back to if they need to.
Yeah.
And from that point, just thank them and close the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying to the engineering team, we had a meeting just prior to this. And this is genuine. I did genuinely say this. I'm not just making this up. But we had an issue with one of the services that we use at Chocolatey. It's a third-party provider. I'm not going to name names. That's not important. But what I was saying was I use the level of support that we provide to customers as a sort of baseline now for when I'm reaching out to other, as I said, an external company that provides services to us. And that's a bit of a problem because compared to other support that I've had for various different things while working at Chocolatey, I haven't been able to find anybody that matches what we do. Jumping onto a call with a customer really early on is not really something that many other companies seem to do, yet it's second nature to what we do here. It's kind of gather the information, then it's if that doesn't fix it, it's usually the next step, as you kind of said. You get all that information, go, yeah, let's jump on a call. Whereas a lot of our companies don't do that, and it's a problem for me because I'm using that as a baseline, and then coming and try and measuring other companies by this, and none of them sort of meet that minimum standard, which is a massive disappointment. But looking at it in a positive light, shows what we do, and it shows how we treat customers and how we try and get to the root of the problem as quickly as possible. By just, as you said, something as simple as jumping on a screen share and saying, right, okay, show me the problem, let me take over, let me have a look at this. And, that fixes a lot of issues really quickly for a customer. So, yeah, the support team we have here is awesome. So a big shout out to Ryan and Stevie and James as well, who's Definitely. Obviously not on the call, but if you're a customer and you've sent in support tickets, you've probably met one or more of them, either on a call or through those emails.
And we're very glad for them, because we don't have to jump on support calls anymore, Paul, which is good.
Yes, we used to have to do that
back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah, it was me and Gary and Rob, and we were on those calls to get those things fixed. So, and as you said as well, Chris, we have apart from a Friday, we've got a daily meeting between the development team and the support team, basically all of kind of engineering and support, where we can share those issues and try and get different perspectives and get the technical behind the scenes development experience as well behind those issues. So yeah, we try and do our best. So hopefully customers recognize that and see it and the support that we provide.
And that's one of the things that that I've really loved about being here is we have automation in place. If you happen to because I'm in the Eastern time zone, my hours are a little bit more friendly for European customers. But we have automation in place just to let the customer know if they happen to put a ticket in. It says, hey, this is outside of our support hours, but somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. As soon as I get in, or if I receive a ticket within my working hours, our average response time is 20 minutes. I don't know any other support. I have never dealt with any other support structure that normally if you email, you'll get an email back that says, thanks for reaching out. And, we'll reach back out to you in 24 to 48 hours. And it's wonderful to be able to do that. And I'm able to do that. I'm able to provide that level of care and attention to our customers because I have that level of care and attention at my back. Anytime that I've gotten a ticket and said, I have no idea what this is, and I immediately turn around and ask Ryan or Stevie or anybody in development, you guys are right there with the level of support and care and attention that I need in order to support our customers. So it's definitely a level of energy and it's something it's just part of our company culture that we're able to carry into.
Yeah.
So looking at the next question, we might have answered, but you might have something else up your sleeve as well. But what is the thing that you're most proud of at Chocolatey since you've been here?
I did sort of answer it, but I will go ahead and, at the risk of sounding extremely mushy, I will go ahead and say that it's the people. Not a day goes by that I'm not extremely thankful for being here, for the connections that I've made, for being able to rely on the rest of the support team or development for any questions that I can have. I've learned so much in the last year regarding things that I would not even have thought possible. And it's been wonderful to be a part of it. And to be honest, to completely give you guys all of the credit. Support folks and development folks, you guys, you never stop working. At least that's how it seems. You're just always moving forward, always pushing forward. And it's what I was talking about when I say, we try to carry that same energy on the support side and give that energy to our customers to let them know that everybody here, the entire company cares and really wants them to succeed. It's very, very rare, I would say, that people can say that they love everybody that they work with at their company. I know we're a small company, but Chocolatey is the first place that I can say that I love everybody that works here.
I mean, Paul does get on my nerves some days, though, I have to say. I'm just going to say it.
Gary gets on my nerves every day, not just some days.
And my brother gets on my nerves every single day, but I love him still. So I mean, I don't think that really means that you can't.
It's a Scottish thing between me and him. It can't be explained. So the final question in our main questions part is: where do you see Chocolatey in the future?
I honestly, and this is, I mean, some of this is product conviction, but I also, it would not surprise me in the least, seeing how we keep pace with the challenges that IT shops face on a daily basis. We take the feedback that we get very seriously. The feature requests that are put in are discussed thoroughly. It completely would not surprise me to see Chocolatey kind of become a staple of IT environments everywhere. Like it's not going to, it wouldn't shock me to be at an IT convention and to hear somebody say, we don't use Chocolatey, and to have somebody go, why? You know, just kind of like, but it does so much. It handles everything. And so I see the growth that we've got so far, just in even just the year that I've been here, and I just see that continuing on and on and on, because like we've said earlier, it's we want our customers to succeed. We want to help them and see them grow and build, and we just, that's what we do. We're here to provide you with the tools and the expertise to take your company wherever you want to go.
Awesome. Okay. So that's our first section out of the way. Then we've got some questions that we ask everybody that comes on to our live stream, Chris. And we've got 4 questions there, and it's common questions we should ask everybody. And it's in honor of Richard Campbell, who does the same sort of thing. Slightly different questions, obviously, but the same sort of thing in Run Ads Radio. So the first one is, what is your favorite coding language and why? If you have one.
I do not have one. I haven't really spent much time coding. I do want to dabble. I want to learn more about it. So I am more than willing to take any recommendations that anybody has.
Don't take Gary's.
I just saw Stevie's comment in the chat. I think what he's hinting at is that it should start with a P and end in an L. That's what I think Stevie's getting at. He says Ruby. Oh dear. Oh, you went muted.
Yeah, I muted. Stevie's suggestion was actually Ruby. And for that, I don't know if we can kick someone out of Twitch. If anybody can kick Stevie out of Twitch for that answer, I think we should do that.
It's quite cool that it brought Stevie's face and avatar through in that when you showed that. That was cool.
It did. And there's Ryan's response to that. And not only have you disappointed Ryan with that, Stevie, you've actually disappointed everyone. So no biscuit for you, I'm afraid.
I was this close to saying COBOL just to see what you guys would say.
Most people would say what now?
So the next question is, I'll maybe change up a little bit. So the next question is, in what IDE do you spend most of your time? Given that you have not done a lot of coding, maybe what editor do you spend most of your time in, and why do you like it?
Once again, like I said, I haven't really spent much time there, but I'll take recommendations. Anybody that wants to say, check this language out and use this IDE, I would be more than happy to try that. And then when I come back and say, hey, it destroyed my machine, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, the standard ones there, I guess, depending on what you're doing. So if you are doing PowerShell scripting, VS Code is one that most folks kind of go to nowadays. And for day-to-day for us on the development side, Visual Studio is where we spend most of our time from a development point of view. But obviously, there are other IDEs and other text editors available. So you pick which one makes sense for you.
So the next question requires me to share my screen. So I'm
Here
we
we
haven't
go.
I haven't shared my screen through this yet. So let's see if it works. So if you just bear with me, I think it's this one.
Where's the drum roll sound effect? Hold on.
Oh, we don't have one.
Sound
Yeah.
We should line one of those up. That's what we should.
There we go.
Oh my goodness. How long have you spent putting that together, Paul? Come on now.
I actually put this together for the last live stream we had with Rob. So Rob, as you see there at the bottom, I don't know if my mouse pointer shows up. Oh, it does. Was the last person on here. So that was a little while ago. So we haven't used it since then. Actually, it might be better if we have everybody at the bottom. Does that make it look better?
There we go.
We're playing around with it. I'm just trying to make it look a bit bigger. So the question, we're looking at the board. This is Gary's wrong pronunciation of NUPKG, board of shame. Now, we used to have a whiteboard where we wrote on it, but it was kind of getting old in the tooth. So I thought we'd do the digital equivalent. So I put this together. But the question is really what is the correct way to pronounce NUPKG? Not the correct way. What's Chris's way? Let's put it that way.
So I will let you know I will die on this hill. I fully commit to dying on this hill. The correct pronunciation is nupkeg.
Yes.
And it is nupkeg because that's the first way I ever heard it pronounced.
Is that because Gary said it?
That's because Stevie said it.
Yes.
Oh, so
when we get Stevie on the
yeah,
stream,
we
Paul.
can't. Well, never.
No,
now.
we should now definitely get Stevie on.
No, because it's 5-2. We can't make the two get to. So it's now 3. It's 5-3 now. Chris, a bit like Stevie a few minutes ago with the Ruby answer, you've also disappointed everybody as well. So this is two people massively disappointing everyone at Chocolatey in the one stream. I'm not really sure what to say to that. Well, I'll update that column at the left with what would yeah, no, I don't know. No, so I'm lost for words. I'm lost for words. But full of disappointment.
Welcome to the club, Chris. Welcome to the club.
Happy to be here.
I'll update that board reluctantly with your avatar, Chris, and your name. Yeah. No words.
Sorry. So following on from that amazing victory there on that question, what is your favorite chocolatey biscuit / cookie?
So this requires some qualification. So my favorite chocolate or chocolatey cookie is the Oreo. There is no better chocolate cookie in my opinion. There are chocolate cookies that serve you better depending on what you're doing, but the Oreo is just absolutely brilliant. But all of that to say that my favorite cookie of all time is actually a molasses cookie that I make myself from a recipe that's over 150 years old. It was passed down from my grandmother's grandmother down through the family. And the biggest, some people would say the biggest problem with the recipe, I think it's the greatest thing about the recipe, is that it makes 100 cookies at a time. So it's there's a lot of storage space involved there, but it is absolutely delicious. And assuming I can get some through customs when I make my travel to Scotland next year, I will be bringing you guys them.
Nice. I am looking forward to that already.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I don't think it's an if you can get them through customs. We'll get them through customs. Don't worry about that.
You're gonna call ahead and be like, "Hey, when the ball guy comes in, just let it."
Biscuits. One of the things I was Stevie kind of mentioned there is Chocolatey Support, a massive disappointment. Apart from his bad spelling there. What I was going to say is not the support's a massive disappointment, Stevie, just the people who work. And actually, it's not the people working, it's just Chris and you, actually, effectively. It's not, that was it. So a bit too much there, not Chocolatey Support, just you and Chris. So
I actually like that spelling, sussport. I think that because it's very sus. We can be very sus at times.
Yeah,
so I think that was on point.
But yeah, your brother has actually pointed out as well that he says Nana's molasses cookies for the win. So
there we go.
We're gonna get some of those cookies. That's happening. Okay, so we're looking at now wrapping up. So we've got about 10 minutes left, so we can kind of wrap up here. And we've got a couple of questions to kind of finish off. So the first one is, what is your favorite memory regarding chocolate? For example, meeting folks in person for the first time, attending a conference, etc.
I've got a couple. I will say this is probably the toughest question that I've had to answer today. But getting the call from Jessica, our HR administrator, that I had been hired, I did everything I could to maintain an even keel. And then I was standing in my kitchen, maintain an even keel. She said, "Okay, we'll talk to you soon." And I hung up the phone. I immediately screamed with joy. And it was so loud that my wife thought I'd hurt myself. She like immediately rushed out of her office. She was like, "What? And for anybody wondering, at Zelfetica in the chat, that's my wife, Deanna.
Hi.
But getting the job was wonderful. The month I spent training in, I went to Topeka, Kansas for 2 weeks, where the company is located, and then went to Ohio for 2 weeks with the rest of the support team, and spent 2 weeks there. Those were amazing. Anybody that's interested, Ohio has the world's largest cuckoo clock. You should definitely go visit. It's incredible. And then getting to meet everybody else that I got to meet at PowerShell Summit in Seattle, Corey and James. It's been an absolutely fantastic experience.
So my American geography is terrible. So from where you are to Topeka, that's what, a half-hour car journey, or what's that?
Sure, we'll say that. It was about a 5-hour flight.
Right. Okay.
That's the furthest west I've ever been.
Okay.
But it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful state. So I would definitely say anybody that gets an opportunity to go. It's a lot of fun. Great food too.
Why the cuckoo clock? Is Ohio famous for cuckoo clocks? Did somebody just decide one day, do you know what?
Yeah.
I actually want to build the world's biggest cuckoo clock. It's just something I wanted to do for a while.
They're just looking through that world record book, and there's not a cuckoo clock in there. Yeah.
I definitely go build one.
I threw that in for Stevie and Ryan because Ryan was with us, my wife and I, when we went to see it in Ohio. And Ryan was like, "It's just cuckoo clock, man. Like, I've driven by it like a billion times. I don't understand what's that." And my wife and I were freaking out. I mean, because when I say the world's largest cuckoo clock, I mean, like, you could live in it. It's long. I mean, it's huge. So we were just like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And it takes like 5 minutes to go through the entire like round of everything it does when it goes off. And my wife and I stood there with both of our cell phones recording this thing go off, because apparently both of us needed it. I don't know, but I threw that in there for Ryan, because when we came back the next week and Rob asked us what our highlights were of the previous week, Stevie and Ryan both said, to be honest, it was watching this one geek out about the cuckoo clock right up, in the next town from where we are. And so it was just kind of like, I'm sorry, but it's awesome. It's amazing. And Ohio also has incredible food if you're interested in traveling.
So it's not only the biggest cuckoo clock, it works as well.
Oh yes, it actually
does the cuckoo come out?
No, that's Chris. He just stands up there and pops his head out.
Okay. It's 5 o'clock. That's it.
It's got these like really cool animatronic people that kind of come out like these. And that will probably. I'm hoping that's actually the link to.
That's a Rickroll. That's what that is. That's a Rickroll link.
Pretty close.
No, apparently that is the cuckoo. Maybe I should have checked that link before putting it on there. But yeah, no, is the cuckoo.
Absolutely, check it out. I mean, it's just really cool if you're like into that kind of thing. But the town that it's in, Sugar Creek, is a beautiful town. Has a wonderful history with it, and it was really, really nice to be able to go through. And that was the other part in Deanna's video. Deanna's my wife, by the way, and her video, you can hear Ryan just being like, "Oh, why are you guys doing this? Why?" So, we're
cuckoo clock. Surely that's the reason you're doing it. I obviously now I need to go to Ohio and see this cuckoo clock. So
yes,
cool.
Okay, sorry, I've taken up enough time with the cuckoo clock. You have questions?
So the final question on the list, I think, is. So what does the future look like for you? What are you working on that is related to Chocolatey? What's in your immediate to-do list?
I am, well, first of all, I absolutely love my job in support. So future for me is I want to climb the ranks in support and eventually take Stevie's job. That's my plan. Stevie's job's got to be vacant, and Stevie wants to move up too. So, I love you, Michael. I do.
I love it.
But for me, the main thing that I'm working on is I want to really, really focus and increase my PowerShell knowledge to the point where I can become a PowerShell wizard like Gary.
Absolutely. That's what they call me here at Chocolatey.
That's a kind of.
Right.
If you're in a PowerShell, aspiring to Gary's level of PowerShell is a thing to do.
I was working on PowerShell just today. In fact, I was writing some PowerShell. I was.
That way you were on an hour and a half call with someone else.
That might have been part of it. Yeah, might have been part of it. James is a wizard as well. He's a wizard in training. I was helping him get to the end result. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, other than that, one of the things I want to do, I haven't had a chance to do yet, is I want to go through and build a Chocolatey for Business environment from the ground up, not using the Quick Start Guide or deploying it through Azure. Just install everything piecemeal and have to configure it, by itself, and then make it all work. Because I think that's going to be that sounds like a lot of fun, and getting that to work. But my ultimate goal is I want Ryan and James and Stevie, the rest of the support team, I want them to come to me and say, dude, you don't have to do all the support tickets yourself. You can funnel some of those to us every so often. But my goal is to free them up so that they can do whatever it is that they want to do in order to help Chocolatey grow as an entity, because I love working with customers. I love my job in support.
Good.
Cool. Obviously freeing up all that time for the rest of the support team to code in Ruby, it sounds like, is what's going on there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, questions will be asked, but okay. So we're actually just a minute before time. Oh no, we're actually at time. I tell a lie. So
I did what I could.
Yeah, that was perfect. Just getting it from But yeah, an hour was absolutely perfect. Now I'm speaking, we're going to go over the hour. So let's close for today. So I want to thank Chris for coming on today's live stream. As we said, Chris, you're the the newest member of Chocolatey. It's just almost shy of a year, I think, for you to be here. But definitely a major part of the team, and thank you for everything you do, not only for engineering and the rest of the company, but for customers as well. We do really appreciate your enthusiasm. And the beard as well. And we'll probably appreciate those molasses cookies when you bring them over as well. Anybody in customs, it's okay. It's fine. And thanks to Gary as well for coming on and co-hosting today with me. It does pay me to thank him, but I do thank him for doing that. And thanks to all of you for watching us today. As we kind of mentioned at the beginning, you can see all of our announcements for Chocolatey content. Just be joining us on Discord, subscribing to us on YouTube, following us on Twitter or X. Blue Sky, apparently, because I forgot to add that in. We've got Mastodon, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitch. You can find all those links at the bottom of our homepage, chocolatey.org. Our next product live stream is on the 7th of September at 4 p.m. UTC, where we'll look at the latest Chocolatey CLI release. That's version 2.2.2. And we're going to talk about package dependency tree issues. That'll be myself and Gary doing that. And our next community coffee break is on the 21st of September at 4 p.m. UTC. So please join us then. Gary, Chris, do you want to say anything before we hang up for the day?
Not much else from me. Just, thank you very much, Chris. This has been a lot of fun. Learned a lot, actually. So, it's been good chatting.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to come on, and thank you guys for everything you do.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
No doubt. Bye-bye.